Hey guys, so today I'm here with my great-grandmother, and I call her Gigi, and I'm going to be doing an interview with her today. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, and I am Mary Shaneberg, and I am 100 years old. I'm still up walking around, and this is my great-granddaughter.
So Gigi wanted to add one more thing to our video. Go ahead.
I just had my birthday in December, and I have 16 great-grandchildren and one great-great-grandchild. I'm a very lucky grandmother, great-grandmother, and great-great-grandmother.
Yeah, let's just jump right in with the video. Okay, so my first question is, what is your earliest memory and what made that event memorable?
I think my earliest memory, when I was a baby, the family was having dinner and in the kitchen next to the living room where we had a fireplace, because that was the only heat we had. And they put me in a big rocking chair in front of the fireplace. And I had never said a word. I was 3 months old and I hadn't made a sound in my life. And all of a sudden, while they were eating dinner, I let out a yell, and they thought that the fire had burned me for me to holler. And my two brothers said that she'd never shut up since. The first time she'd opened her mouth, and she hadn't shut up since then.
Okay, so next question. What do you think about today's technology compared to kind of the technology that you had when you were growing up?
Well, I think it's amazing, the technology that we have, and when you think about what it can be in the future. And somebody said to me the other day, what do you think is going to happen in the next generation, the next 100 years? And I said, well, I think your second home will be on the moon.
Probably. What is the best advice that you've ever been given, and who was it from?
The best advice, I think, was from my parents, my mother and my father. It was tending to your own business and letting everybody else do their same. I was born and raised on a farm, and all they grew was cotton and corn. And the only foods that we bought was flour and meal. We had our own chickens, our own cows, whole horses. They had a hen house. The hens went in a house to lay their eggs, and my job was to pick up the eggs every day and bring them to the house.
What story from your life would you like me to pass on to my grandchildren?
When I graduated from high school was during the Great Depression in the 1930s, and I needed a job. And I got a job as a waitress, making $1 a day, and my uniforms. And my father came to see me about 3 weeks later, and he said, Mary, how much money do you make? And proudly I said, $1 a day, and my uniforms. And he said, you know what you do with 10 cents of that dollar, don't you? You give it to charity. And I said, but I've only got $1. He said, would it make a difference when you wake up in the morning whether you have 90 cents or you have $1? And that has stuck with me for over 80 years.
Do you remember what girls and women were expected to act like or dress like when you were growing up?
They're expected to be ladies.
What does it mean to be a lady?
The way you dress, the way you act.
How do they dress differently then than they do now?
We didn't wear shorts.
When you were younger, did you like to keep up with trends and styles that were popular, or did you like to kind of follow your own style?
Well, we lived in the country, so you didn't know very much about style.
Where did you get your clothes when you were growing up?
We made them. My mother made all of my clothes, and then I learned to sew and make my own.
What is your secret to happiness?
It's keeping busy. And people say to me all the time, what do you contribute your longevity to? And 3 things. I have a loving, caring family, past and present, and a multitude of wonderful friends, and keeping busy. And I still volunteer 2 days a week at my temple, every Tuesday and Wednesday.
What kind of work did you do when you were younger?
With my job, I sold cosmetics.
At Estee Lauder, right?
Charles and Ritz first. I was with them for 20 years. And then I left them in 1972 and went with Estee Lauder for 3 months, and then I retired.
I love makeup too, so
You
that's
do?
like one of my favorite things, yeah.
Do promotions, set up advertising.
Was it hard to train people?
It's never hard to train if they like what they're doing.
Did you like makeup? And did you like that, or was that just your job?
No, I like it. I use it, still use it.
That will probably be me in 80 years too. I had to do the math for a second.
So when you started in the cosmetic industry, working for Charles of the Ritz, how did that happen? How did you get started working for them?
Okay, it was during the war. And we lived here in Memphis. My husband worked for Fisher Memphis Aircraft. And I went to work at Gerber's in the cosmetic department. And I was fascinated by makeup. And I went, when the war was over with, we moved back to Little Rock. And I got a job at M.M. Cohen's in cosmetics, working Charles of the Ritz. And then I went to Kempner's because that was where Charles of the Ritz was. The executive came down to visit the store, Mr. Solomon. He was fascinated with me only because he said his wife could have been my twin.
Really?
Yeah. And then they offered me a job traveling for Charles of Ritz. And then I went to the stores to train people. I was in the store 5 days, Monday through Friday. And then I moved on to some other place, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Texas. And then when I went with Estee Lauder, then I went to Chicago and Los Angeles and every place else, and Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
You would love that job.
Yeah.
I get a retirement check every month from Charles of the Ritz.
Really?
You
Still?
You still do?
I still get one every single month.
Wow. That is amazing.
That's impressive.
Sure do.
They sure did lose money on you.
What would you say is the most interesting place that you've traveled to?
Hawaii.
I want to go there. Did you ever feel fearful towards the state of our country? And if so, what eased your fears?
Well, I think whenever we've had a war, we've always had fear. I just had a brother that was in World War II.
Is there anything that you wish you could have experienced when you were younger that you never did? Do you have any regrets?
No.
Well, that's good.
No regrets? That's good. That was my question.
Do you remember what car your family first owned?
Yep. Model T. But up until then, we had a horse and wagon. That's how we went to church, and that's how we went to town. That's how we traveled.
Can you talk about the changes that you've experienced in your lifetime?
Changes, and I saw the first airplane, passenger airplane,
Really?
the first black and white television, the first colored television, cell phones.
What was it like for people to experience those things for the first time?
It was shocking.
What was your first pet?
My personal pet, we had cats and we had dogs in my family. But my first pet I had for 16 years, she saved my life. Her name was Gigi.
How did she save your life?
Was traveling at that time and I had a lot of back problems. And I went to sleep with a Battle Creek pad. And sometime during the night, it got hot. And instead of waking up, I just pulled it out and dropped it on the floor. And the carpet was there. And it was smoldering. And this little animal was on top of me, clawing, kissing me in the face to wake me up. And finally she did. And I was half out then because that rug had smoldered. And I jumped up and ran and threw that pad out on the patio. But if she hadn't woke me up, I would probably not be here today.
Wow. And Gigi was a dog?
Yeah, there she is.
Gigi.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, she was tiny.
Oh yeah, she went back right there.
Aw. Do you remember anything about the Holocaust?
I know it existed.
Because you know there's some people that don't believe it existed, right?
Oh, how can you not believe in it? It happened.
Yeah, that's what I
I
say.
know people that was in it. In fact, there's a lady that we work with in the archives that your great-great-grandfather helped bring her into this country.
Wow.
Because they had people that tried to relieve people out of the Holocaust and get them out of there, out of Germany. And Papa Schoenberg was one of the people that volunteered to get a load out of there, and she is one of them. And her daughter had done some work for Jill, and Jill tried to pay her. She said to Jill, "You don't owe me, I owe you. Your great-grandfather brought my mother to me."
Since you've been living so long, you've had to experience a lot of your family and friends.
My mother,
dying
my
around you.
father, my two brothers, my sister,
Oh my God.
two of my great nephews, their wives. It's not easy.
Have you figured out a way to kind of like cope with death? And do you have any advice for somebody that's coping with the death of a loved one?
I don't have any advice. I think that's something that a person has to work out for themselves.
Yeah, just figure it out for themselves,
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Okay. Are you afraid of death yourself? Because I know some people are like terrified of dying, but obviously that's a part of life, and I wanted to know, are you afraid of dying?
No. My feet hurt so damn bad I'm ready to go now. Not tomorrow, but now.
If you could have new feet, you'd be good.
Yeah.
Well,
I went to see David Schoenberg, who's a podiatrist, on Monday. And when I walked in, he said, "Cuz, what can I do for you today?" And it was a Monday. I said, "Somebody told me that every Monday you do feet transplants." He said, "No, I only do them on Tuesday."
How does the rest of your body feel?
Okay.
can you talk about like who you married and when you got married and all of that stuff?
Yeah, I got married first when I was 19 years old.
You were married twice, right?
I was married to Jack Wolf, was his name.
Right.
For if he'd lived 3 more months, we would have married 25 years.
Wow.
Really?
Oh yeah, good.
I didn't realize that.
That's right.
And then you married.
Then I was married to Herbert for 10 and a half years. We got married in 1975. That's right.
And did your life change when you married Herbert? Did anything?
Yeah, well, I got all of you all. I'd like to say thank you for the time and effort that you put forth, and I hope I've been able to help you.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for doing this with me.
Good.
Okay guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I had so much fun interviewing you, Gigi. Thank you for letting me do this. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up.
This video with thumbs up.
And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Let me know if you guys have any questions or suggestions for any future videos on my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Bye.